What is going on, YouTube? Today's going to be a lower key video talking about the 2022 10 of the Pharaoh's Gods. I'm going to tell you how I feel, which should pretty much tell you how you should feel. Starting off, Forbidden Droplet, one of the most expensive cards being printed in this set. I think currently, or at least before the reprint was announced, it was like $100 to get. I'm going to say that's an S tier reprint. Forbidden Droplet can completely change the overall look of a match. It can completely change the results. So I'm going to say that's S tier for sure. Tri-Brigade Kit, I'm going to say, it's hard because Tri-Brigade doesn't really do much nowadays comparatively. I kind of want to put it in B tier because Tri-Brigade's kind of a B tier deck right now in the meta, but I want to put it in A. I think it's fair. It's a little bit more expensive. The deck is good. It's not great. I'm going to say solid A tier for sure. Dragoon is going up to that S tier, baby. Dragoon is a great card. Not gonna really rank it because of its card though. I think really why Dragoon goes up there is because it finally becomes affordable for the Dark Magician strategy, as well as things like you know, some rogue branded strategies. Before its reprint was like, actually, not even before it was confirmed, because it was already confirmed a while ago, but before it was seen, it was, you know, the cheap copies of Dragoon were like $50. So now they're like 30 something. Dragoon's reprint is definitely very cool. The fact it's coming. Also, I love the prismatic rare for it, so I would have to want to see it in that. Greater Polymerization, I'm going to say is a B tier card at best, maybe C. I like the idea of Greater Polymerization, but like regular Polymerization is much more searchable. Greater is cool when you get it, but there's not a great way to get it into in your hand. So I'm gonna say B tier for sure. ZS Ascended Sage, that's an anime card. That's definitely C. Absolutely not a fan. Unlike Ready Fusion, which I think is an A tier card. Ready Fusion is a great card as long as your extra deck has some level 6 or lower monsters in it. I think it's really cool. I like it a lot. I think it's very niche, it's very situational, but it's a good reprint nonetheless. Aliber, on the other hand, I think is a really unnecessary reprint. It's a great card, but I'm going to put it in the C tier because I don't think we need a prismatic secret Aliber after we just got an ultra rare Aliber in Ghost from the Past 2. The card was like $5 before it was confirmed to be in the set, and now it's $3. I mean, I'm all for people saving some money, but I really don't think it's going to help anybody. If you're picking up 10s and you want to run like branded Despia, it's definitely a good thing overall. The problem is if you don't already have branded Fusion, you're kind of SOL because that's not in this set, which I think is a missed opportunity, but it is what it is. Branded Opening, that's going to be definitely, it's going to be on the border between S and A. I'm going to say it's an S tier because that card was getting kind of pricey. It's like $15 before it was confirmed to be in here, so I'm going to say that's probably an S tier. It's really important for the strategy. It's crucial to get things off and just make the deck all that more consistent. If you are building branded from this 10, which you definitely could do for the most part, that's going to be an S tier card for sure. You'd be missing 3 really important cards. Aside from those, I think you're going to be good to go. Next up, Dark Ruler No More. It's going to be kind of the same situation as Aliber. It just got reprinted as a common. It is now available for under $1. We do not need one of the ultra rare spots being taken up by Dark Ruler. Great card if you, for some reason, don't like buying singles and didn't buy the Albaz structure deck for whatever reason. It's a great pickup, and if you're going to get an ultra rare spot, it's definitely a good one. I prefer it over the common printing we have now. Also, it can be used in a bunch of decks, so if you only have 3 copies, it's good to have more so that you can build multiple decks at a time. Aside from that, it's not really useful. Next up, the new Red Eyes Black Dragon art. This one is hard to rate for me. I like the idea of the Red Eyes Black Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Dark Magician Girl reprints. The problem is that we don't necessarily need this taking up a prismatic spot. It makes sense it's taking up a prismatic spot. There's special cards just for this. However, I don't know that I really want them in that spot considering how stacked the prismatic spot is otherwise. I'm going to put that as a solid A tier option. Dimension Shifter is a solid S tier card, especially because it's in the ultra rare spot. That is really important because right now the prismatic rare is very top heavy. There are a bunch of great cards in that prismatic rare spot, and there's some also just absolute crap plugging up that hole. So I like the fact that D-Shifter's in your ultra rare spot, which you get 2 of per pack, which is really important. Next up is Evil Twins. Literally no one is playing Live Twins right now. That's going to be a solid B tier card. It's a really good card for a deck that's just not seeing a lot of play. Now, what's really important is Lightning Storm. That is S tier for sure, baby. Finally out from underneath King's Court, Suppressive Control. Love to see it up there because it is really important, and I did not want to pay $90 for a playset. Next up, Armed Dragon Thunder level 7. No one runs Armed Dragons. That's going to be a solid C tier. Maybe a D tier. You know what? Screw it. D tier and, you know, D tier. No one needs this. It's prismatic. It was a cool card, I'm sure. I'm not going to read it because I'm literally never going to use it, and I will never see it used competitively. If you get it, it might be a good collector's piece, but you will never see it used against you. Next up, Pot of Prosperity. That is S tier, baby. $300 for a playset was a little bit much for some people, myself included. So it's good to see that it's getting a reprint. It might now be like $90 for a playset after it's all said and done. I imagine this is going to be the expensive card of this set. Maybe not initially, maybe it will be initially, I don't know, but I think looking back, Prosperity is going to be the expensive one. Incredible Ecclesia is good to see reprinted, great in the Sword Soul strategy, great in the branded strategy. It was coming down in price already, but I'm going to say solid A tier card. It's definitely good to pull if you get to pull it. It's definitely a good option to have in your back pocket if you are running either Sword Soul or branded. However, it alone I don't think is going to be as good as some of those staples. Also, it had already come down pretty drastically in price overall, and I don't think it was necessary in either of those strategies. So I'm not convinced that it's the best option here. Rainbow Bridge of Salvation is a cool card if you're running Crystal Beast. No one is running Crystal Beast. That structure deck did not save them. That's going to be a solid, probably C tier. Honestly, let's go ahead and throw that down to D tier card because you are not going to run it outside of that strategy. You're not going to run it really with that strategy because you're not going to run that strategy. Masquerade is a super. That alone makes it S tier because it's not taking up an important slot. Also, I would have been cool if Masquerade had been prismatic and Quiritis, wherever he is, was not, because Masquerade is a really good card that was pretty expensive. Quiritis was already cheap enough and not that necessary in the strategy. So I am very happy that it is a super rare that is absolutely being taken into account here. S tier for sure. Next up, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, also S tier because it's had almost no printings whatsoever. DPE is a great card and it's not going to get any disrespect from me. Using Fusion Destiny to bring it out is amazing. It is awesome. It is almost invincible and undefeatable, and I like it quite a lot. It's definitely S tier for sure. Goddess of the Underworld is a really good card, but I've not seen it used really in any decks whatsoever. It's definitely good because the price is going to come down from I think about 30 bucks where I saw it before. I'm going to put that in a solid A tier. Next up, True King of All Calamities. Great card. Love to see it getting reprinted. The fact the price is going to come down, I'm going to put that in a solid A tier for sure. Next up is Small World. Small World is great for a lot of strategies. Going to put that in an A tier card for sure. Really don't like how many prismatics we are getting in here. Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 cards in this S and A tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of them are prismatics. Do you see my problem with this set? Ghost Ogre already has a printing as a common. Therefore, I'm going to put it in the B tier because it does not belong as a prismatic. It is really, really annoying that it is prismatic and taking up a spot in these 10s. Next up, did I get got? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so did I get this Armed Dragon confused with the True King of All Calamities because they're so small? Absolutely, I did. This was not supposed to be here, so we're just going to bring it down here and forget about it. Next up, Ruddy Rose Dragon. Ruddy Rose was not that expensive to begin with. It is a very annoying card that I lost a very annoying match to, so I'm very angry about it. However, it is a really good card and it should be reprinted, so I'm going to put that in the solid A tier for sure. Dragon Link loves this card. Gives them a lot of burn damage. It can burn you for damage in overtime, and it's just really annoying because you can lose an entire match because of this. I'm not mad. Diviner of the Herald is a really, really, really good card. I'm putting that in S tier because I wanted it. Next up is Rox Rose Dragon. Rox Rose is a very good card. It is necessary for the Dragon Link strategy that brings out Ruddy Rose. It is a great card. Should be getting a reprint. Gonna put that in the A tier because I don't like that it's prismatic. Next up, Dramaturge of Despia. D tier. You know why. It should not be prismatic. It's cool that it's prismatic, but it's taking up one of the necessary spots for prismatic. Are you seeing my problem with this set? It's way too Prismatic, there's too many. You're gonna guaranteed to get something good, but if you're hunting one specific thing, you're gonna want to buy singles because almost everything you want is going to be in that prismatic spot, of which you get 3 for $20. Blue Eyes White Dragon will always be S tier no matter what. Forget everything I said about the prismatic reprints. This one's gonna be S tier because it's so pretty. Next up, Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom should be S tier. Currently, the card is $10 at the cheapest. That's $30 for a playset, and it works in every single deck. It is the most important hand trap in the game. Therefore, yes, it's going to be S tier just because it's getting yet another reprint, which drives the cost down. It gives people a chance to pull it that don't have it already. Absolutely S tier for sure, no matter what. Cross-Out Designator is a really good card. Didn't get quite the impact I think Konami was hoping it would, but it's still really good. This has completely shot the price down from 30 bucks to less than 10. So for that reason alone, I want to put it in S tier. However, because it's just not quite as valuable or viable as a lot of people want it to be, I'm going to put that in the A tier. Dual Tower is really cool. I really want to like it. I like the idea of it. Next up, Ghost Mourner. No, not Ghost Mourner. Ghost Bell. God, these ghost cards are too complicated. Ghost Bell is a really good card that I like a lot, B tier. Next up is the True Sun God. Now, here's the deal. True Sun God is an ultra rare. Therefore, it's going to get some props in my book. The problem is, it's the worst of the 3 God card support. So B tier? Seems fair. Alright, Revived Sky God is really, really important. It's going to see actual competitive play. It's also an ultra rare. That is an S tier. I think, especially at locals, we're going to see a lot of plays revolving around the True Sky God. That +6 you can get, especially if you activate in your opponent's standby phase where they get no benefit from this, is really good. And you have a really good way in the branded strategy of milling Slifer to the grave. Tier limits work the same way. So honestly, I really, really like the Revived Sky God. I think it's the best of the 3. Next up, what card is... Oh! Link Into the Brains. Link Into the Brains is good. It seems like it can be abused if people are really linking smart with it. Don't know if it's that good overall, though. I'm just not really sure. B tier is where I feel comfortable. Next up, what is this? This is the Flow Under Reese field spell. Really good field spell. The common is like 3 cents. D tier. Next up, Nibiru. Nibiru is an ultra rare, and it's a really good card, especially against a lot of decks currently. You know what that means? That's an S tier for Sabiro. Next up is Quiritis. Quiritis is not that useful in its own strategy. It's definitely not necessary to be a prismatic secret rare, taking up one of those precious spots. D tier. Next up, the Ruin Breaker God. I like this card. I think Obelisk is going to see a lot of play. I will be building an Obelisk deck, and we'll have that video up on the channel as soon as I get all the cards I need for it. I'm going to put that as a solid S tier card just because it brings Obelisk back into the mix, and it's only an ultra rare, which is a huge thing because the ultra rare spot is very big, but only a few cards matter, which means we could have taken some of the prismatic rares and bumped them down a rarity, which would have been great. But I guess that then people wouldn't have bought quite as many 10s, which would have been worse for Konami. Dark Magician Girl. Dark Magician Girl has enough prints. That's going to go right beside Red Eyes Black Dragon inside of A tier. Drytron Mew Beta Fafnir. S tier for sure. If you saw my Drytron video, it is very important for the strategy. I love, 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 love this card. And it's $15 right now, so it's definitely necessary. Drytron is going to be somewhat relevant no matter what. It is a really good deck that just does not get hit. So Drytron is always going to be a really good rogue strategy. The fact more people are going to have access to Mew Beta is important. Really wish people didn't have to wait a year since the last 10s to get this, but whatever. It's really important. Soul Energy Max is an import card. It works for Obelisk and it has really good synergy with Ruin Breaking God, so I want to put them in the same tier. I think it's also an Ultra, so I feel really comfortable putting it in S tier because it's not taking up that prismatic spot. I am driving myself insane, and this is, I think, overall the tier list. If I were to move some stuff around, I wouldn't know S tier wise how to move things. I kind of want to put in S tier all of the, actually I'm going to put, if S tier, Masquerade is definitely going to be first just because it's a super rare and that takes up the super rare spot where there's almost no competition. Next up, Nibiru being an ultra rare, I think is definitely going to move it right here because it should be its top. I mean, it's the fact Nibiru is an ultra rare and you have a higher chance of pulling it than anything else. That's important. Prosperity, though. Prosperity might have to be like that. Because even though it's a prismatic, I think that's fair. Forbidden Droplet being there is good. I kind of want to put, even though Dragoon and DPE were some of the more expensive, I kind of want to put things a little bit different. I think next up is Ash Blossom. Any reprint of Ash Blossom is important, and then Forbidden Droplet. Might do Droplet, then Ash, I think is the way I want to do that. Yeah, that makes sense. Dragoon and DPE are definitely going to be top row. Lightning Storm, more important. You're really important. Branded Opening. Ooh, Diviner. So I don't know how much Dimensional Shifter was. Dimensional Shifter is also an ultra though, so I kind of want to give that some credit. Diviner's really good though. Ultimately, I mean, I think even though it's an S tier, I think Blue Eyes is gonna be the bottom. I guess really it depends on how expensive Dimensional Shifter was before, but I kind of like. Well, the problem is, okay, Mew Beta is prismatic, so it's gonna stay here. Actually, it might go here because it's only useful for one strategy. That seems good to me for the S tier. I like that layout. Yeah. A tier. No, this is gonna have to change. Crossout Designator is the most generic and splashable, so I like that a lot. The most expensive, I think, were these two. Underworld Goddess and True King of All Calamities. Underworld Goddess I like more, so we'll do that. Then you're pretty splashable. You're really good for Dragon Link, which is important. Rox Rose, same reason. Kit's really good for that strategy. Then Ecclesia. Small World might be before Ecclesia. There we go. I like that. Okay, cool. And then, yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, I like the fact that you are an Ultra, so you're going to go there. Ghost Ogre and Ghost Bell are really important no matter what, so they should go here. Trouble Sunny. Yeah, because Dark Ruler is at least an Ultra. And then D tier doesn't matter. So I'd say I'm definitely putting Dramaturge is last, no matter what. Well, okay, no, that's not true. The Floowandereeze map card is last. Everything else is fine to me. So this is my ultimate tier list. Everything is in order, in the right tier. I think that's perfect. So I think overall, my big takeaway is the 10s are good. You are going to get value in these 10s. They're wonderful. They're going to be the best set of the year for any prospective buyer. However, do not go too crazy. Buy your singles. The 10s are good, but listen to me. Singles are important too. I say if you want a ton of cards, if every single card on this list is appealing to you, or at least like, 80% of these cards appeal to you, absolutely buy some 10s. I mean, I would say, you can't go wrong with buying one or two for sure. I mean, no matter what, you're going to get something good. You'll get support for the strategies. You'll get some like common cards to build out your collection. It's important. So 2 10s, I would say is good. If you know you're going to need some cards here and you're willing to go spend the money, 4 10s is what I'm getting. I think it's a reasonable number. Anything beyond that, I don't think is necessary. I don't think is important. Let's check some of these card prices 2 weeks after the 10s release. You can get some singles for some really, really, really good prices. Prosperity is going to be a big one because initially the price is going to be drastically higher than every other card. I guarantee it. However, once it is printed, we'll see how often it's getting pulled. Wait 2 weeks, people will be trying to unload this stuff, and you're going to get some really good deals in your card. So just be careful, take care of yourself, be, safe, all that kind of stuff, and we'll look forward to the 10s. Let me know if you pull anything down in the comment section down below. Let me know if you disagree in the comment section down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. So, as we always say here on the channel, I hope to see you around sometime.